Welcome to our 8th annual Northwest High School Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony, honoring the class of 10 outstanding athletes, coaches, and contributors. This really is a very special day for all of us, and it's indeed an honor and a privilege for me to introduce our distinguished honorees to you this afternoon. And now it's my distinct honor and privilege to introduce this truly outstanding group of Hall of Fame inductees. First is Mr. Rich Dye, class of 1959. Rich excelled in 3 sports, football, basketball, and track, earning 5 varsity letters. He was a dominant force on the gridiron and led his football team as captain to 2 league championship titles. Rich went on to excel at Western State College and in pro football as he played for the Cleveland Browns Athletic Club in 1962 and 63 as a guard and linebacker, helping the team to capture the 1963 championship title. He served honorably in the Vietnam War and has helped coach and inspire many youth players over the years. Rich is now retired and lives in North Canton with his wife Beverly. They have a son Chris and 3 grandchildren. It's my privilege to introduce Mr. Rich Dye.
Well, thanks everybody. This has been a good experience the last 2 days, something I never really expected, but I've enjoyed it. I forgot what I was going to say.
No worries, Mr. Guy.
Okay. Anyway, I'd like to thank everybody that had anything to do with this, and we enjoyed it. My mom and dad would have been in smiles with me being down here. We moved to Canal, Fulton when I was a year old. And we had 5 kids when we got there, and there was 7 shortly after. So we were long planted in Canal, Fulton. My wife told me I should practice, but don't always go that way. Anyway, I'd like to thank all my family that's here, some of them up in the bleachers, and we had a good time. Hopefully, we'll see more of these. It's, I'm just wasting time, ain't I? Anyway, we'd like, boy, this is harder than I thought. We had a good team the couple of years I played. My junior year, we won the league championship, and we beat Jackson for the league championship that year. I don't know if many of you remember back then, our football field was only about a year or 2 old. And the day before it started raining, and it rained for a day and a half till the game started. And at halftime, the score was 0-0, and we went in there and they had to bring sand into the field so we could play. It was so soft, it was just a mud hole. Anyway, at the end, we ended up beating Jackson 13-0. And the nice part about that is our 2 co-captains scored a touchdown. Larry Notch, who was the quarterback, scored 1 touchdown. And Bob Schilling scored the other touchdown. I thank you for giving me this time, but I think I'll turn it over to somebody who's a little more competent speaking and doing it. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. Our next honoree is Mr. Jim Shalomo, class of 1975, represented by his father, Dan Stalmo. Jim was a standout multisport athlete in football, basketball, and baseball, earning 8 letters and a true leader both on and off the field. On Scotty Morrison's football team, he played a key role in leading the team to their first ever Senate League championship. Jim earned first team All-League, All-County, and All-Northeast Inland District honors, and third team All-Ohio his senior year. He led the baseball team with the highest batting average his junior year and was voted league MVP. He was also named league best defensive player in his senior year. Jim graduated from Bowling Green University and returned to Canal, Fulton, where he founded Realty One, his own brokerage firm. He was deeply committed to our community, serving as president of the Chamber of Commerce and VP of the Rotary Club. Tragically, we lost Jim in 1985, but his legacy lives on through his family's dedication to our community and our football field that now bears his name. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome Mr. Dan Stalmo.
Here I come. Good evening, everyone. What an opportunity to stand before this group and know that our children and many of your children have went to Northwest High School. What an honor that is. I'm going to take you through a journey of 2 young men. In 1957, in basketnets, they were set on Bob and Jim was set on the counter of Bob's grandpa's place as little boys. And they grew up together playing sports, and they're both honored today. What an honor this is to have them. I'm going to take you through the situation of each one of them working with each other. They played baseball together, they played basketball together, they played football together, and they were all county players in all sports. And what an opportunity to watch them grow up and be honored on the same day. Bob's father worked for me, and one afternoon we were working, he said, I'm going down to watch my son play baseball. And I, of course, was working all the time and never wanted to quit. And I said, well, if you're going, I'm going too. So I ended up down there, and Bobby and I, Bob's father and I coached third base, and he coached the whole team. And believe it or not, when they were 11 years old, they both were taken to Doylestown to an all-selection baseball game. And of course, I took my camera with me thinking I would take pictures. And I'm leaning over the fence, like this, and all of a sudden, my son Jim hit a grand slam home run. And I thought, my gosh, wish I could play that back, but I couldn't. But as he grew, and Bob was there too, playing ball with him, and they came back and he ended up playing football in Jim's sophomore year. And believe it or not, the first game, I could not get there, and I always attended all these games and that because I was director of the youth football program, which I designed and built and helped the Booster Club raise money. And from that, I come to find out after the game was over, none of my family would even tell me that Jim was playing football. But he was selected at the back of the game that first year as a sophomore, which was quite an honor. And going on and playing basketball, his third year, believe it or not, he moved from the reserve
up with Rokas, who took over the head coach job, and actually there was 3 or 4 lettermen. There were 2-year lettermen already, and I kept telling him after practice when I picked him up, I said, "You're going to start. You're definitely going to earn that job." And believe it or not, in January he broke in the lineup, and the first game, hard to believe, East Canton never scored 1 point. But it was a standing ovation. And I'll tell you, Rokas taught them how to block out. It was very common for the guard to come around and pick the ball and get the ball and receive it while the other 2 forwards were blocking out. And going on to his junior year, it was hearsay that he threw out many of the football, not baseball players, I should say, at second base because he's a catcher. And I wish I could have been there, but being a builder like I was, that was the time of year when you really got out and dug basements, and got the houses started. So I never got to hear it say that, but I understand we used to practice that after church, always step and throw past the ear, second base. And I hear a lot of people talk about him today about being a good catcher. So then, from there, watched Jim and Bobby grow up and mature into young men. And it's quite an honor to be here before you to receive this induction of Jim Shalomo. Thank you.
Okay, next up, we're going to roast Mr. Bob Venibals. No. Just kidding, Bob. Class of 1975. Bob was a standout athlete, earning 6 letters in football and baseball. He was named WHBC Northwest Player of the Year in football. He also earned all Senate League honors in both sports for 2 years. A graduate of Ohio Wesleyan University, he spent a decade teaching math before he transitioned into coaching. As a softball coach, his teams compiled a 53-16 record over 3 years, winning 3 sectional titles and 3 NBC championships. In 1991, Bob coached the Stark County All-Star team to victory, earning him NBC Coach of the Year in 1990 and 91. In 1992, he was named athletic director, where our programs thrived with numerous league, district, and regional championships, including the 1998 Boys Basketball Division II Championship and the 1999 Boys Soccer State Runner-Up. In 2001, Bob became the middle school principal and later an assistant principal at the high school. Bob retired in 1992 with his wife Kathy. They have 2 children and 7 grandchildren, and they remain very active in our community events. Bob has truly accomplished it all. It's my pleasure to welcome Mr. Bob Venibals.
Thank you. Glad all of you could be here tonight. I'd like to thank the committee for putting me in this such an honored position. It's just, I'm just really proud of Northwest. Jason talks about it, Gary talks about it, and I felt the same way. I'd like to thank my family, especially my wife, playing, dating, married, being athletic director, which only certain people can reflect on when you're athletic director, the time that you're away from home and the kids. And my wife and I, we've been together since we were 16 years old, so we know, she knows all my bad habits. My kids, I'd like to thank Bobby and Amy for supporting me, for doing the things they do. The years as athletic director, taking tickets for me, phone calls, just being there and supporting. And when I'm not at home, you know, just trying to get to their games and was hard, but they understood. Two people that won't be here is my parents. I knew I couldn't do this, but because my mom and dad would have been very proud of this. They're just like Don. I mean, Don and Carol, they knew each other since, Don told you, since 1957, and they would have relished this to watch me get this honor. I'm just thrilled with it. When I was athletic director, it was me. I didn't have a secretary or anything, at least at that time. It was just one person in there, and people like Mark and Vicki Kaufman helped me with the tickets and those kind of things, which Gary and Jason know. Friday nights are like unbelievable, and to have somebody help you with that is just great. I also have Rick and Mariska. Rick played with us all the way through, and they flew in from Texas just to help celebrate this, and that's just the kind of friends that I've had, and I really appreciate that. The only reason I get something like this is to have great people around you. It's not me, it's the people that you work with. There's others that are in the Hall of Fame that I've been around, coached, played with, whatever, you know, coached with me, coached me, and it's just a thrill and honor. Coach Dye was he was my first football coach back in 1966 when we had the youth program that Don started, and I had him, and when he got up here and he said, "Oh, I should have practiced this," I thought, that's what he said to me all the time. You got to practice this if you want to be good. That just reminded me, Coach, of you. Oh, those hot summer days. Jim and I, like Don said, we grew up together. We played ball together. We lived in the same neighborhood for a number of years together. And it was just, we did a lot of growing up. One of the other guys that's in the Hall of Fame with Jim and I was Brian Reese. And him and I and Jim, we played a lot of ball together all the way through. And it's just been guys like that have helped me. Mr. Corral, he's not here, but he's getting honored today, and that he brought me back to Northwest. I'm going to admit it, I was at Louisville for 2 years, okay? And he called me and said, "Hey, would you like to come back to Northwest?" And I said, "I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of getting here, I'm coaching." He goes, "Oh, think about it." I said, "Okay, I will." I said no on Friday. My family, I thought they were going to disown me. I got phone calls from Brian every night. I got phone calls from coaches. "What are you doing? Get back here." So I called Mr. Corral Sunday night. I said, "Hey, you said I had the weekend. Can I change my mind?" He said, "Sure." So Monday I went in, introduced to the superintendent, and they brought me back. I spent the next 30 years here and loved every minute of it. And then I got the honor to coach the softball team, and Diane, who's getting honored today, was one of those main contributors to our softball team. We had a good record. They say, "Oh, you had a winning record." Yeah, but it's players like her that really made it. And it's just those kind of people that I just truly, truly, want to thank. Gary Woods came in after me as athletic director, and the things he's done for the athletes and the players and the things that he does with the trophies and all that sort of stuff is just unbelievable. I can't imagine anybody better. I wanted to ask one thing. I know this is kind of corny, but if I coached with you, had you as a coach, you were in one of my math classes, or any connection with that, would you guys stand a minute? Come on, I know there's more of you that I played ball with, that I coached, taught with, but really, you guys are the ones I want to thank, because you made that possible for me to be here tonight. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Love you all. God bless you. Go Northwest and go Blue.
Thanks, Bob. Our next honoree is Diane Schilling Meyering, class of 1991. Diane was a three-sport athlete, earning 11 varsity letters in volleyball, basketball, and softball. She was also an honor student in National Honor Society, graduating 7th in her class, and was named Miss Northwest. In volleyball, she was a two-time Stark County first teamer and first team all-conference. As a senior, she earned first team District 4 and Beacon Journal all-district team. She helped lead her team to a district championship, lettering all 4 years. Diane was a three-time MVP winner in basketball and three-time first team all-conference. In her senior year, she was selected second team, All-Star County, and honorable mention Northeast Ohio Inland, ending her career as one of the top scorers and rebounders in the county. She also earned 4 varsity letters in softball and was a two-time first team NBC conference player and second team District 4, helping her team win 4 consecutive league titles. Currently, Diane is a registered nurse at Akron Children's Hospital, residing in Uniontown with her husband, Stephen. They have 4 children and 3 grandchildren. It's my pleasure to welcome Mrs. Diane Schilling Meyering.
I wrote this out. Not good at reading on my phone at this age. Just want to say good afternoon to everyone. I'd like to start by thanking the administration of Northwest High School for organizing this special weekend. Thanks also to Joe Schultz for the nomination and to the Hall of Fame committee as a whole for selecting me for this honor. I'm truly humbled to have been selected into the Northwest Hall of Fame class of 2025 and standing on the stage today with my fellow honorees. Congratulations to all the inductees today. I can thank my mom and my late dad for cultivating a love of sports at an early age. I'm so thankful my mom can be here today to celebrate with us. Ever since I can remember, sports have been a part of my life. My parents started taking me to Northwest high school football games every Friday night by the time I was 4 or 5 years old. It was just a way of life. I had older cousins who played football and other cousins who were in the marching band, so the whole game was an event for me. 2 of my cousins who are in the marching band are here today to support me. Thank you. I knew at an early age that I wanted to be part of the tradition and spirit of Northwest sports. I spent countless hours in our backyard as a young girl, playing catch with my family and hitting baseballs and softballs to each other, practicing catching the balls in the air and stopping the grounders. I also spent many hours shooting baskets in our driveway, playing games like horse and 2-bounce. It never felt like practice. It was just what I enjoyed doing. All of those younger years just messing around in the backyard and in the driveway helped me prepare me for success in high school sports. I was never the athlete that dreaded practice. I looked forward to it and making strides in consistent improvement. I played 3 sports here at Northwest: volleyball, basketball, and softball. All of them taught valuable life lessons and teamwork and respect for coaches, teammates, and opponents. Thank you to all those teammates over the years. I wouldn't be up here today without them all and all the hard work we put in together. Lasting friendships and lifetime memories were created. I want to also extend thanks to all my high school coaches, Coach Raffalides, Coach Wygand, Coach Armstrong, Coach Shorhag, and Coach Venables, who's up here with me today. What a list that is of coaches, all great men that have my utmost respect. From the laid-back nature of Coach Shorhag to the not so laid-back nature of Coach Raffalides. And everything in between. I learned a lot about how to handle situations that arise in life. To quote Coach Shorhag, sometimes you get the bear and sometimes the bear gets you. Results in sports and life don't always go your way, but you get up and keep trying and move on with confidence that you will succeed the next time. Thanks also to my coaches for encouraging me to play all 3 sports. If I had to choose just one, I don't think I could have done it. I look forward to each season and the different challenges that make each sport unique. I also loved each sport for personal reasons. Volleyball because our team's success, basketball because it was the first sport I truly loved, and softball because it was fun and the best way I could spend time with my friends near the end of each school year. The older I get, the more I realize how much time my coaches sacrifice with their own families to instruct, mentor, and guide us in our young lives. When you're young, you tend to take that for granted. There were countless hours of practice, bus rides, and long game nights. Their dedication to preparation and the work ethic to be a high school coach is admirable, and I can't say thank you enough. In closing, I want to thank the people who are here supporting me today. I mentioned my cousins who are here, who are in the marching band, and Northwest graduates. I want to thank my husband, Stephen, who's been my rock for the last 4 years. My kids, Garrett and Allison, who are here, and just the absolute lights of my life. And last but not least, my mom, Nancy, who is here today. I want to thank her for all the drives back and forth to practice. I mean, before I got my license, that's 10 long years of taking me to and from practice, never missing anything. My 12 years of sports, I think I can think of one time my mom missed a game. So I want to actually dedicate this award to my mom and thank her for everything she's done in supporting me throughout my sporting career. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. Our next honoree is Michael Philabaum, class of 1995. Michael was a 3-sport athlete, earning 11 varsity letters in cross country, wrestling, and track. He was a 3-year letter winner in track and field and was team captain and MVP of the cross country team his senior year. His true passion was wrestling, where he excelled as a 3-time state qualifier, placing 5th his sophomore year, 2nd his junior year, and state runner-up his senior year. He was selected as a 3-time Northwest MVP and the team's most outstanding wrestler his senior year. He completed an impressive record of 113 wins and only 31 losses. Mike was a 3-time Stark County All-Star and 2-time Wrestler of the Year in both Division II and III. After graduation from Mount Union College, he has enjoyed a successful career in sales, marketing, and photography. Mike resides in Massillon with his wife Kendall and 2 children. Please welcome Mr. Michael Philabaum.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all so much for coming out and supporting all your loved ones today. This would actually be amazing if I wasn't standing in front of this microphone. They say public speaking is the #1 fear of people, and I think they're right about that. I've spent the last few weeks writing, remembering, contemplating what to say today, what kind of message of encouragement I can offer. Through this process, I found myself back in 1995, 30 years now, 30-year anniversary. It is shocking how much life has passed, but for us athletes, we can remember every moment, our endeavors, our hard work, our wins, our losses. I found the memories do not fade, but they do define us. Wrestling for me started in the 4th grade when my best friend made fun of me for playing basketball. Wrestling is a warrior sport, he said, so I went to practice with them and I got my ass kicked. But I was hooked. Fast forward a few years later, 7th and 8th grade, Coach Reese, sorry, Brian. Ryan sent me to practice up at the high school with the big kids. Thank God my older brother was there to keep me from being killed. It became apparent to Brian and my family that I did have a natural talent at it. I worked harder than I thought I could, but it was the people behind me believing in me that made all the difference. My best bud, Mike Moore, my brother Jason, here today, also extremely talented wrestlers. They molded me, they pushed me. I'm up here today because of you guys. I love you. To Brian, you saw in me something and took even more steps. You drove me over to Perry High School to wrestle their state placers. I hated that. It was extremely hard. But I also appreciate it, and I thank you, sir. To Mr. Stump, Bill, the hardest conditioning coach ever. As big of a man as you are, you're just a softie. To Mr. Staats, another fellow awardee this year, who came in my senior year, Norton High School's state champion. Truly an amazing thing for me to look up to. To Bob Harold, who I did not expect to be here today. One of the sweetest men you could ever meet. These men and others gave me so much. They gave so much just for me. I thank you all. To my mother and sister, my heart, my dietitian, my ride to all the practices, my cheerleaders, I love you. Oh, I swear it gets hard. My biggest thank you goes to my hero, the man who believed in me more than anyone, my dad. He had the hardest job of all, one that all fathers I now see, convincing your child to believe in themselves. He traveled for work, but he never missed a match. His booming voice shouting support as he came rushing to a match from a 12-hour drive. When I would see him, my mind would calm and my confidence would rise. He wanted me to win, but that meant nothing to him. He just wanted me to smile and have fun. Just believe, Michael. That's always what he said. This award is bittersweet. I dedicate it to my dad. We lost him this past Christmas, but I do feel him here today. I know you're proud, and I want you to still know I still believe. I love you just the way you are. I should mention cross country and track. To Mr. Armstrong, my cross country coach, I can still see your smile. You knew I ran just to get in shape for wrestling season. As for track, no one would run the long 2-mile race. Well, heck, cross country was 3.1 miles, so that was kind of easy. And it does turn out, I just liked running like Forrest Gump. Congratulations to all the inductees here today. We've worked hard to be here, and this dedication makes Northwest what it is today. Thank you to Northwest High School for the recognition. My time here and the years long ago are always cherished. And thank you.
Thanks, Michael. I can attest to the fact that wrestling is probably the toughest sport there is out there. I had two boys that grew up as wrestlers, and they said, Dad, when you think you've had a tough day, you go out there and in 2 minutes, you're humbled beyond comprehension. But anyway, they were both really good wrestlers, and they taught him a lot about life. Our next honoree is Lindsey Johnson Alman, class of 2006. Lindsay earned 10 varsity letters in volleyball, basketball, and track, where she played for 3 legendary coaches, John Raffalides, Denver Hoops, and Brian Armstrong. Her volleyball teams won 2 NBC League titles and advanced to the regional finals 3 of her 4 years. As a result, she was selected to numerous all-star teams, including NBC All-Conference, All-District, and All-Northeast Inland District. Lindsay was also selected honorable mention All-State her senior year in basketball. In track, she was league runner-up in the 100-meter hurdles and was NBC champion in the 200-meter sprint. Lindsay is a legal assistant in Akron and a fitness instructor at the Jackson YMCA. She and her husband Jamie have 4 children and enjoy watching them play many sports. It's my pleasure to welcome Mrs. Lindsey Johnson Alman.
Something down so I wouldn't be up here just staring into space. So I just want to say I'm so honored to be included in this Hall of Fame inductee class. Thank you to everyone involved in this opportunity to be part of such a great group. It feels surreal to be up here, especially considering it feels like I just graduated high school and not the 20 years that it's almost been. I want to take a minute to thank all my coaches I had throughout my time. Coach Hoops, Coach Raff, Coach Armstrong, Coach Kelsey, and Mr. Woods, not a coach, but you did just as much. They all played huge roles in mine and my team's successes throughout my 4 years. I believe a coach has the ability to leave a forever lasting imprint on their players that can carry well over to after high school. The lessons you can learn on a field, track, or court, and from a coach, shape who you become as a person. Looking back on my time, I think I was able to be coached by some of the best coaches that have been through the Northwest Girls Athletic Program. I feel so lucky to have gotten to learn from them and take some of the valuable lessons that they taught me, and now I get to teach those lessons to my own kids and players who I coach. Most of all my favorite memories from school revolve around sports in some way, and time spent with my teammates. I remember my parents always telling me how excited they were to be able to sit back and watch me play. And back then I remember wondering, how could it be so enjoyable to just sit and watch someone else play all the time? And there were a lot of games. But now, with my kids in sports, I understand. I couldn't imagine enjoying watching a game. Oh, I'm sorry, I lost myself here. Now I get to sit and watch my kids play all their sports and watch them work so hard to chase their goals. And actually, it is better than when I played myself. I know sports will help shape them into great young adults, and that the lessons that I learned during my time, they will now have their own lessons and experiences that they can carry with them. If you've met my family, you know that we're all a bit competitive, and a bit is probably an understatement. There is a competition in our house of who's the best athlete. And I was going to come up here and say that I could win it this weekend, but I'm going to give it yesterday to the boys, Braden and Logan, for their big win against Triway. But I am going to claim it for tonight. Yes, go Braden and Logan. But I am going to claim it for tonight and probably the rest of the weekend. So sorry, kids. Sorry, Jamie. I know you have your 3 national championship rings, but I'm still going to win. Anyways, thanks again for being up here and being involved in this opportunity. And thanks, everybody.
Our next honoree is Evan Bach, class of 2010. Evan earned 7 varsity letters in both football and track. He was an all-around athlete in football, playing numerous positions on offense and defense, scoring 45 touchdowns, accumulated over 2,000 yards rushing, and over 1,000 yards as a receiver, over 150 tackles and 5 interceptions. He was a member of 3 consecutive playoff teams. As a senior, he set a single-game rushing record of 329 yards and scored 5 touchdowns. Incredible. He also recorded a single-season reception record with 64 catches for 924 yards, earning him first-team All-Star County and All-State honors. Evan ran track as part of numerous 4x100 and 4x200 conference champions and regional qualifiers, and was conference champion in the 400-meter dash. He went on to play football at Hillsdale College, where he lettered all 4 years and played in 44 consecutive games, graduating with his degree in finance management and accounting. Evan is a CPA working for Communication Exhibits. Please welcome Mr. Evan Bach.
All right, thanks everybody for coming out. Let me get my speech out. Don't got one. So this is off the cuff. I mean, I feel like if you're a subject expert, right, you should be able to talk about it, and it should be able to come from the heart. So it shouldn't be too hard in a community that I've spent 34 years in to talk about sports in Canal Fulton. Before I get started, I'd like to first and foremost thank my parents. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. As with everybody else up here, it's your parents as a child that supports you. They take you to all your sporting events. They let you do what you want to do, and they give you the resources to be successful. So thank you guys. So 2 things I want to talk about. Let's see, 2 subjects is just sports in general. I want to take a different approach as to what sports mean to me and how they impact your future. And just from an outsider view, I almost feel like an outsider because I haven't been into the school since I graduated. It's probably been 15 years, and the community of Canal Fulton, it's a special place, you guys. So as far as sports, how do they impact you? Like, why are they so special and why are they so important? And this goes to thank all the coaches from Pee Wee all the way through high school. Everything that you guys do, if you don't think it's important, it is. It makes an impact. The life lessons you learn in sports is the virtues they carry throughout your life. Discipline, okay? You don't want to go out and practice every single day of your life. There's days you don't want to be there, but you learn discipline, you learn responsibility, you have to be there. You learn to work through things when things are challenging that you don't want to do. It's the same in the workplace. I mean, there's people that you see that don't want to work, that, you know, they don't feel well today, they have a cough, they don't show up. Well, the athletes I know or people I grew up with, they're at work. Just discipline, you're on time, you know what you're doing. On top of that, when the going gets tough, all the athletes that I know, there's no quit. As an athlete, you learn humility that you're gonna get beat, you're gonna lose, but you're not gonna quit. You learn from it, you progress, and you embrace the challenge. I don't think it's a coincidence that everybody you know that's an athlete, at least for my part and my circle of friends, they're all very successful businessmen, doctors, accountants, like you name it. They're very successful in their careers, and I don't think that's a coincidence. And that goes to, like I said, all the coaches and everybody that's a part of this community from Pee Wee all the way through high school. So thank you guys. It really does make a difference. Secondly is just the community of Canal Fulton, man. Special place. Growing up or graduating college, I started working at PwC in downtown Cleveland. Then I worked at Smucker's, and I worked at the Cleveland Clinic. And just simple things like today at the luncheon, to have Jason say, "We're so blessed," and to have a prayer. Like, that was almost, it didn't catch me off guard, but I'm not used to that. Like, the world out there is so PC that you have no idea, like, how much of a breath of fresh air that was to hear you guys say that. And then something as simple as, we're still the Northwest Indians. You have Cleveland, who had to change their name to the Guardians. I mean, seriously, that cancel culture, it's a poison. And just go out to trick or treat or any community event. I don't want to talk politics, but everybody has different views, but you go to any community event in Canal, Fulton, or Northwest, despite our views, we're all together. We all get along. Like I said, you go trick-or-treating, all our neighbors, we get along, we love on each other. And also to that, growing up with my friends, it's like we had multiple parents. We had 10 parents. We were always hanging out, fellowshipping with parents, family, and friends. So I just want to thank everybody that's involved in any sport and the community of Canal Fulton. It's truly a special place here, and it's truly a beacon of light in a dark world right now. So don't take it for granted. Keep electing appropriate people do your civic duty and elect the appropriate people to the school board, and keep the same virtues that you have in leadership now, because what you're doing right now is the right thing. So thank you, guys.
Thanks, Evan. Our next honoree is a man who probably does not need an introduction. Mr. Dan Staats, coach. Dan was an Ohio State wrestling champion at Norton High School in 1988. He continued his wrestling and academic career at WVU, also my alma mater, proud of him, where he lettered all 4 years and was twice an NCAA national qualifier and second team academic All-American, where he graduated summa cum laude. He began his teaching and coaching career at Northwest High School in 1994. Over his 10-year tenure, Dan compiled an impressive 66 wins, 24 losses, and 1 tie record. Under his leadership, the wrestling program captured 3 NBC conference titles and 3 Canton sectional championships. His 2001 team achieved a top 10 finish at the state tournament, and this is after all the private schools, and we finished 10th. I will never forget that because my son was a member of that team. His 2006 squad finished as district runner-up. During this time, he coached 2 individual state champions, 4 state runner-up, 9 state placers. In total, 21 of his wrestlers qualified for the state tournament, and his teams won 11 tournament championships. Dan was named NBC and Stark County Coach of the Year 4 times and continued his outstanding career at Norton High School, turning out many more conference and sectional titles. His overall outstanding record stands at 157 wins, 50 losses, and 1 tie. Dan continues to inspire so many athletes and students as he's earned many teaching awards, including Northwest Teacher of the Year in 2023. Dan and his wife, Elisa, live in Norton with their daughter, Annalisa, 2 stepsons, Alex and Ian, and 2 granddaughters. It is my distinct honor to welcome Mr. Dan Staats.
Good afternoon, everybody. First, I'd like to extend my deepest thanks to the Hall of Fame Committee and the Northwest Athletic Department for putting together such a first-class event. To be recognized in this way is an incredible honor, and it's one that I don't take lightly. I also would like to congratulate my fellow inductees. It's a privilege to share the stage with you guys. I'm in my 32nd year of teaching, and when I look back as a young teacher and coach, I'll be honest, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. But what I did have was the good fortune of being surrounded by some truly incredible mentors here at Northwest. And the first 2 guys I would like to speak about are Brian Reese and Bill Stump. These guys were instrumental in shaping me early on. I couldn't have asked for better mentors. They're two of the best coaches that I've ever been associated with. I'd also like to thank Coach Al Mayfield, who's had a profound impact. Coach Mayfield, he was always quick to give me some advice on how to build up a program from the youth levels all the way up to the high school. And I've gotten plenty of one-liners from Coach Mayfield, and I still use them every day in the wrestling room. As a teacher here in this district, like all these speakers have said, is really an amazing place. But as a teacher, I was deeply influenced by John Hexamer, Gary Dial, and Steve Jones. Their example helped shape not only my teaching style, but the way I approach coaching and connecting with young people. I'd also like to thank Zach Meisner and Art Kali for allowing me to be part of their coaching staff as well in my time at Northwest. I'd also like to recognize the athletic directors and administrators who've supported us over the years: Bob Venibals, Gary Woods, and Jason Hathaway. Their encouragement, leadership, and unwavering support provided the foundation for everything that we were able to build. Most importantly, they've always modeled what it means to put kids first. That's a lesson that I've tried to carry with me throughout my career. Early in my career, I came across an article that said it takes at least 100 good people to build a great program. But at Northwest, we had hundreds of great people, and it all started with the wrestlers. To every wrestler that I've had the privilege to coach, thank you. Your work ethic, your heart, and your commitment made this program what it is. One of my greatest sources of pride is seeing how many of you have gone on to achieve incredible things, not just in wrestling, but in life. And watching your growth has been one of the most rewarding parts of this journey. It's also been an absolute thrill to coach both with and against some of my former wrestlers. Wrestlers like J.R. Easterling, Jeremy Villers, Kyle Haddix, Corey Tanksley, and many more. I've had many assistant coaches over my 10 years here, and I'd like to talk about a couple of them. Mike Primavera. Coach Primo is with me from day one here at Northwest. He helped create the vision of what we wanted this program to become. And nearly 30 years later, I'm still trying to coax him back to the coaching reins, and I still count on him as a trusted voice and friend. The great Dave Bergner. Coach Bergner brought unmatched grit and toughness to our wrestling room. He didn't just develop great wrestlers, he built lasting relationships that have stood the test of time. And also David Talarchek. Coach T brought a technical sharpness and an understanding of this sport that elevated everything we did. To this day, Coach T is the first person I call whenever I have a question about wrestling or need some advice or insight. And the parents. Oh my gosh. Families like the Hudsons, the Ayers, the Easterlings, the Spicers, the Nasos, the Rosenbergs, the Distals, Villers, Griffins, Strohs, McLaughlins, and Roches, and so many more. Thank you. You did far more than just support our team. You taught me and the kids the true meaning of community and service. From organizing fundraisers, running Sunday youth wrestling events, you helped transform this program into a family. I'd also like to thank the Northwest Takedown Club. Their generosity and commitment has played a huge role in the growth of this program. Thank you for believing in the mission and what wrestling can do for kids. And finally, to my own family. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. To my wife and daughter, brother and sister, and all of their families. Your support through the years has meant everything to me. You've cheered from the stands, traveled to countless tournaments, and always believed in me and what we were building. And I couldn't have done any of this without you. And in closing, I want to thank you guys again for this incredible honor. I'm so proud of what we were able to build together at Northwest. and I'm deeply grateful to be part of the Northwest legacy. Thank you.
Better get these, I can't see anything. Our next honoree is Mr. Gary Woods. Gary graduated as an honors student in high school, where he earned all section baseball honors as a catcher. After graduating from Penn State University in 1971, he began his teaching career in Western PA, where he taught Spanish, history, civics, and math. He also coached 3 sports: football, basketball, and baseball. He went on to East Liverpool, Ohio as a special education instructor and developed an Eastern District basketball powerhouse during the 1990s, winning several league, sectional, and district titles, including the 1998 team as an Ohio Final Four finalist, which was their first in 50 years. During that year, he met his wife Brenda and joined the Northwest staff as a Spanish teacher, coaching the freshman basketball team and leading them to an NBC Freshman League championship. He is particularly proud of this team as they went on to win the Ohio State runner-up championship in 2004. And in 2001, Gary became our athletic director, continuing the rich Northwest athletic tradition, sustaining our local, regional, and state recognition in all sports for years to come. And all the wonderful pictures that you see throughout our halls and the electronic board that is out in our lobby here, highlighting all of the classes and all the honors of these classes. This was all put together and designed by Mr. Gary Woods. After serving 45 years in education and retiring in 2017, he maintains a close relationship with the Northwest community, district basketball coaches, and association, and Stark Area Athletic Administrators Association, and he continues to serve as our Pac-7 League Commissioner and has for the past 15 years. It is indeed my honor to welcome Mr. Gary Woods.
At first, I would like to start off by saying congratulations to my fellow inductees. When they stand before you, they realize the honor that they have achieved. I guess I would also say I'm extremely proud of Digger and Dan and Bobby and Evan, because I became close friends with all of them. And I developed the relationship that I've tried to maintain over the years. I look back on my life, and it definitely has had different stages. I remember my growing up days in Beaver Falls High School as a high school student playing sports, following sports. I got to see the great Joe Namath play football, basketball, and many didn't realize he was probably a better baseball player than he was football. I went on to Penn State and watched Joe Paterno coach the Lyons. I graduated from Penn State, got a teaching job in a little community called Midland, Pennsylvania, and probably the most known people out there were Simmy Hill and Norm Van Leer, extreme basketball players. Simmy Hill was the #1 pick in the ABA the year that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was for the NBA. So you can tell the type of talent that he was. I went on from there to East Liverpool and had a wonderful time there, but I wasn't really fulfilled. My life became fulfilled in 1999. I met my wife and we were married. And in the process, I got 2 lovely stepdaughters that I treat as my own. and that'd probably be the thing that I think about the most. I was very fortunate at Northwest because I had tremendous mentors. I got to work with John Hexamer and Steve Jones and Gary Dow, that to this day I call some of my best friends that I've ever had. They indoctrinated me into the ways of the Northwest family. When Bobby became the administrator in 2001, we had a domino. The assistant superintendent left. John Hexamer was the high school principal. He became the assistant superintendent. Steve was the middle school principal. He became the high school principal. Bobby was the AD. He became the middle school principal, and I became the last of the dominoes. So it was just a life-changing thing for me. When I think back of my career, the one thing that I've tried to promote, and Bobby started it, and I just carried on the tradition, is the Northwest family. I never tried to make it about me. It was always about the kids. I'm very humbled and grateful to be standing here in front of you. To this day, I've developed good relationships with Logan and Bobby, and where's my 5.3 CD at? That's, for those of you that don't know, that's Kendall Lauer. I've been fortunate. I was around great coaches. The Jim Lowers and John Raffalidis and Brian Armstrong, and the list goes on and on. They helped me to do the job that I want to do for you. And that's the most important thing in my life, is that I've been on a life of service for over 50 years, and I truly have enjoyed it. I'm very humbled and very honored by this. And as David would say, oh, let's see what that means. The Buckeyes don't kick off till 7, so I got a lot of time yet. I told her, in 5 minutes, you give me the yank. I'm out of here. So I'll hold you to that, and I'll close on one thing. Once an Indian, always an Indian. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Our final honoree today is Mr. Nick Corral, represented by his daughter, Kathy Corral. Nick was born and raised in West Virginia, graduating from Reevesville High School in 1950. He entered the U.S. Air Force, where he served 4 years, including 2 in Libya. Upon discharge, he graduated from Fairmont State College, where he met his wife Nancy and graduated in 1959. They both started their teaching careers at Sandy Valley High School, where Nick taught English and Spanish and was advisor for various clubs. After 1 year, he was hired by Northwest High School, where he continued to teach both Spanish and English. During this time, they welcomed their 2 children, Kathy and John, into the world. Nick served as principal at Clinton Elementary, W.S. Stinson, Northwest Intermediate, and the high school. He also taught at Malone College and was actively involved in the North Central Association School accreditation system, serving as co-chairman on numerous site evaluations of other areas' schools. He often served as area coordinator of the North Central Association, Northeastern Ohio regions. Nick was actively involved in the Rotary Club of Canal, Fulton, and was instrumental in helping assert themselves as the academic booster club of Northwest. He was an outstanding educator and friend to everyone. Unfortunately, we lost Nick several years ago. But it's my distinct honor and pleasure to welcome Nick's daughter, Kathy Corral.
I couldn't use paper. I figured I would shake. So here we go. First, I'd like to thank Tammy Schalmo for everything. She works tirelessly all year round to make this happen, and I look forward to her phone call next week to say, when can we meet? So I'll help you do it again next year. Thank you, Tammy. Also, I'd like to recognize Mr. Jones and Mr. Hexamer and others that were so instrumental in my dad's career. It's such an honor to be here tonight as my dad, Nick Corral, is inducted to the Northwest High School Sports Hall of Fame. My dad's story wasn't an easy one. He grew up a child of immigrants from Spain, and they came here to build a better life. When he started school, he didn't even speak English, and money was scarce. But he decided early on that none of that was going to stop him. He had a quiet determination, and being poor wasn't going to be an excuse. It was his motivation. He joined the Air Force for 4 years, which gave him the chance to go to college. And from there, he never wavered. He knew education was where he belonged. He was laser focused on making a difference in schools, and that path led him right here to Northwest. And he loved this place. He didn't just see his role as an administrator. He saw himself as a mentor, a supporter, and sometimes even a cheerleader. He believed that sports and education went hand in hand. And to him, both were about discipline, teamwork, and building character. He wanted every student to feel like someone believed in them because he knew how much that mattered. Now, if you'll allow me, I'm going to tell you a little story to tell you exactly who my father was. Some of you may remember the blizzard of '78. My dad was the principal then, and the world basically shut down in Northeast Ohio for weeks. I mean, the snow was, you can imagine, I know you've probably all seen pictures. Our house phone rang nonstop. I mean, all day, all night. When is school coming back? Are the roads safe? Where are the buses? When is school coming back? On and on. We had to take it off the hook. But just to get some peace, but to cope with all that, my dad would go over to the YMCA in Massillon to swim laps. And this was before we were blessed with the Schalmo family Y. So he drove to Massillon to get some peace and get away from everything. If you knew him, you knew that Nick would get caught up in his own thoughts in such a way that you would talk to him, he would compute, or look like he did, but wouldn't hear you. So he was just always dazed off when he was concerned. So he wasn't fully present when he was worried. He'd nod along in agreement, but he hadn't heard a word because his brain was back at school. One morning after a tough conversation about the school shutdown, he went to the Y and got changed for his swim, or at least he thought he did. He walked straight out of the locker room down to the pool deck, ready to dive in. But the only problem, he had forgotten to put on a swimsuit. Oh, I missed it. Wait. He forgot to put on a swimsuit. And a lady and her children were out in the pool. And she's like, Mister, you're naked. And he kept that story to himself for a while, but every once in a while we like to bring it out and remind him. Let me see, where'd I go? I lost it. I'm sorry, give me a second. So, as a child, I saw firsthand how much of his heart he pulled into this school. He carried Northwest with him everywhere, and even years later, people would stop him and share how he made a difference in their lives. Those stories meant the world to him, and they mean the world to me now. Tonight's induction isn't just about recognizing his career. It's the legacy he left here, one of hard work, integrity, and encouragement. I know he would be humbled by this honor, and I know he would share it with every student, athlete, colleague, and friend who was part of his journey. On behalf of the family, my family, I would like to thank you to I would like to say thank you to the Northwest community and the Hall of Fame committee for remembering him this way. This is a tribute that means more than words can express. Sometimes a father's legacy isn't always about money. It can be about a good reputation. And I certainly inherited the best reputation a girl could ask for. Thank you.
Thanks, Kathy. This concludes our ceremony for today as we continue to honor our finest athletes every year and administrators, contributors, coaches. It's been an extremely high honor for me and privilege to present this outstanding Hall of Fame class to you. Would you all please stand up? Thank you for all your accomplishments and service to our community. We wish you all a bright future filled with good health and happiness. Please give them all another huge round of applause. Now remember to please come downtown this evening for continued fellowship and celebration, enjoying more fun, music, and food. Thank you all for coming. Have a great evening.